Welcome, race fans all around the globe. You are in paddock headquarters. Thank you for watching the program. This weekend, of course, as you know, we are in Brazil. We've had the qualifying. We've had the sprint race, which Max Verstappen won. And then, of course, we have the Grand Prix tomorrow. Afterwards, I'll be shooting a video talking about some of the things that I think we as Formula One fans need to be looking at as we close out this season and go into the off season with anticipation as to what will happen next year. Now, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Max Verstappen again. And I do think, even as a loyal Formula One fan, that it has become a bit of a concern with the dominance of Red Bull. Now, if you are a Red Bull fan, you want to see your team dominate and win. You don't want close calls. You want domination. And me, as a sports fan here in the United States, it's the same thing. I'm not necessarily, when I'm rooting for my team, I want a complete victory. I don't want to come from behind victory. I don't want the emotional, last-minute clutch play. I want complete dominance. I want execution on all sides of the ball, whether it be baseball, whether it be football, American football. So I think if you are a Red Bull fan, you are definitely enjoying the show. But there is a concern as we head into the end of the season. You know, the Drivers' Championship is already wrapped up. The Constructors' Championship is already wrapped up. And when I was watching the race, the sprint race, you know, the announcers are really trying to generate this excitement about these storylines and these battles, you know, midfield. But there just isn't a lot to get excited about when the announcers are talking about overtakes and battles in the 10th and 11th and 12th positions, when in a sprint race, you know, the top 8 are the only ones that get points. Of course, the top 10 in Grand Prix. But for the first time, really, I thought it's not necessarily an indictment on Red Bull. Red Bull is doing everything that they should be doing. It is an indictment on the other teams, particularly Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Mercedes, but really Ferrari and Mercedes. Aston Martin has shown some improvement. They're not quite there yet. And McLaren certainly has punched up to the front. But really, with the legacy teams like Mercedes and Ferrari, I think, particularly Ferrari, I think it's an indictment on these other teams that they should have really caught up to Red Bull and lessened that dominance some. Now, I don't want to take away from Max Verstappen either, because compared to his other teammate, obviously, you know Max, he does not make mistakes. He's very aggressive. He manages his tires well. The pit crew team does their job. So there's a lot of moving parts, and I don't want to diminish what Red Bull is doing this season. But I do think it is an indictment on the other teams, and Formula One has an issue, right? So how do you keep newer fans interested when both your championships are locked up and you still have several races to go, right? In American football, it doesn't matter. Now, if one team is completely dominant and goes undefeated, you know ultimately there has to be a Super Bowl, and they still have to win the big one to be crowned champion. And it's the same thing in baseball. No matter how dominant your team is, you get through a playoffs, and ultimately you still have to win the World Series at the end of the season to be crowned a champion. And that's not the case obviously in Formula One. So something to be, we'll continue to discuss it as we move along. But first of all, let's get this Brazil race underway. Let's see what happens tomorrow. There are a lot of other storylines in the constructors race outside of the top 2 or 3. And we still want to see, obviously, where the drivers complete the actual numbers 1 through 20. So that's my take. Let me know what you think in the comments. Paddock Headquarters, I appreciate you all watching my videos. I know I've been off the grid for a couple of days. Could not be helped. Don't worry. I'm always going to be posting content on Formula One, all things, all the time. I will see you tomorrow.